I'm really excited to share with you tonight a preview of the Transition US Regenerative Communities Summit, which we've been working to plan for over a year now. And first, I want to thank all of the organizers who have been really putting a lot of energy into this, a lot of folks as volunteers. So thank you to Rua Swennerfeld and Karen Tuninga from Sustainable Charlotte, Vermont. And thank you to Jewel Bystrova and Galen Myers from the Inner Resilience Network. Thank you to Kat Vanderstraten from Energize Wayland, Massachusetts, to Theo Legrau from Films for the Planet, to John Foran from EcoVista and the Transition US Board, and then the Transition US staff team, Elvia Cruz Garcia, Jess Parfrey, Don Hall, and myself. So we know this summit is needed. Natural disasters the onslaught of natural disasters we're seeing now even are teaching us and our society about the need for regeneration and resilience. The Floyd Rebellion is teaching us about the importance of justice, and COVID has showed the world how fragile our supply chains are and also highlighted the need for community resilience. And we've pulled together an inspiring lineup of local solutionary content from partner organizations and local transition initiatives across the country. And we've designed the summit to be interactive at the local, regional, and national levels. We hope the summit will inspire and ignite the movement for regenerative, just, and resilient communities across the country. And we are inviting you to join us. That's why we're here tonight. So we're gonna start with visioning with Jewel Bystrova to help us get a taste of what the summit could really bring to our communities. And yes, feel free to keep posting in the chat where introducing yourself and where you're tuning in from. Thank you. Over to you, Jewel.
Thank you, and good afternoon from lovely Northern California, where there is not a fire happening right now. I'm very grateful. Usually I start these things, different events with a grounding, but we're going to do something different. We're going to actually take off into the future. So we're going to do a little bit of vision exercise. It's only about 5 minutes. So I'm just going to go ahead and invite you all to get comfortable in your chair and be sure to put your seatbelt on because we're going to take off. And go ahead, if you're comfortable, close your eyes, feet flat on the floor, and take a nice big belly breath to get yourself well in your chair. And let's go ahead and ignite this. Let's say you're on your chair is a rocket ship, and we're going to go into the future. It's actually a time machine rocket ship. And we're going to go in the future. So your eyes are closed, imagining now this time machine is taking off and heading into time, into the future. And you're seeing the years go by, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's stop there. It's 7 years ahead. And just take a moment and breathe and let your time machine land. And you're in the town you live in. You're in wherever it is that you live, your city, your town, your countryside. That's where you are right now. And let's go ahead and just take your seatbelt off and stand up and look around your town. And let's just see what's happened in all this time from the transition standpoint. And let's imagine together that your town actually has these wonderful, thriving projects that have started back 7 years ago, or even longer. And you're looking around, and what do you see? What projects are there? Are there neighborhood gardens? Are there placemaking features in the downtown streets? Are there neighborhood skill shares or swaps? Are there what's going on? Just go ahead and let's just take a moment, and you can walk around your town or look around your town and see whatever it is that's happening in your town. Maybe there's new bike lanes, new solar arrays. Maybe there's a new school, permaculture school. All of these things that have come up as a response to the climate change, climate chaos, all the changes that we're in now, and all the seeds we're planting now. Let's imagine what's happened to everybody in these last 7 years as they've adjusted and they've got these projects going in, even in the face of all these changes. What does that look like? Yeah, now imagine you're greeting a group of your friends from your local area, and they're all happy to see you. Everybody's smiling and sharing food. Maybe there is a picnic or a table, fresh grown from somebody's garden, maybe the community garden. And you're sharing food and you're talking about what each of you have been doing. And maybe you can hear for a moment what it is that you did to help change things. What was your part? See how, just breathe that in and feel how good that feels, that you were part of this change. You did some good work. All right. So take one last look around your town. Just take it in and know that this is possible. This future is very possible. All these wonderful projects that happened in spite of all the changes, not only in spite of, but because of the changes, the challenges, knowing that this is possible and that you've been part of it and you've been an important part of it. So let's go ahead and strap yourself back in your seat. And we're gonna have to come back to today, to where some of those seeds may have gotten planted in the summit. And closing your eyes and seeing those years go backwards to this year. And landing. Woo, feels good, feeling nice and grounded back in this year, feeling your body, feeling your breath, feeling revitalized and ready for this time together. All right, thank you for this, for joining me on this journey. And I'll hand it back to you, Marissa.
Thank you, Jewel. And now we're going to go over to Dawn, who's one of the summit co-coordinators, to give us a brief overview.
Thanks. That was lovely, Jewel. I'm Don Hall, Executive Director of Transition US, and I'm here to give you just kind of a basic overview of the summit and then pass it back to some of my fellow organizers for some more details. So I'm going to share my screen here with you all. And hopefully you've already been to this page. This is transitionus.org/summit. This is our landing page here. And we're very excited to be convening this Regenerative Communities Summit after a year and a half being apart because of COVID. It's time for us to come together. And our big theme of last year was from what is to what if. And in this summit, we're going to be looking from what is to what if to what's next. So this will be taking place Friday, September 24th through Sunday, October 10th. And we will be we are working with dozens of partner organizations who are leading the transition to a more just and sustainable society to offer an abundance of inspiring plenary sessions, skill building workshops, dynamic discussion spaces, engaging activities. So there'll be a wealth of online main stage events, but this is a hybrid summit. And we want to encourage people to come together where it's safe to do so, to host in-person, local, and regional events connected with the summit, as well as to host your own discussion spaces online. So we will be offering this summit on a pay-what-you-can basis because we want thousands of people to attend, to get back re-engaged with this movement, redoubling our efforts in the face of increasing impacts from climate change, and participating in whatever way feels most useful to them. So we will also be using our online Mighty Networks platform to provide a social network for people attending the summit and able to continue to discuss some of the themes that come up in these events further. So I mentioned this is going to be on a pay-what-you-can basis. And this is our registration page on Eventbrite. It hasn't launched yet. We're expecting to launch registration the second week in August, so 2 weeks from now. But you can see here what it's going to look like. We don't want price to be a barrier to participation for anyone. You know, we looked at the real cost of putting on this summit and are requesting a suggested donation of $45 per person, just giving a baseline for, you know, what does it take to put this kind of, you know, top level event on. And so we're suggesting $45 a person, but you can pay anything, and we are encouraging our youth and BIPOC friends to register for free. We have a promo code here, TUS guest. So you would go here, click on the ticketing page, and put in whatever you feel that this experience is going to be worth to you, and what you can afford. So I think there's going to be tremendous value in this. I hope that you know, you all can participate over the 2.5 weeks in many different sessions. But even if you just come for 1 or 2, you're very welcome. And yeah, we can kind of arouse our creative spirit here at this, you know, real turning point of not going back to normal, because normal wasn't working, to go in a regenerative direction and to catalyze some real energy for that throughout this country. And with that, I will pass it back to Jewel, who's going to tell us a little bit more about the program.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Don. I'm just going to give you all the highlights, and you'll be getting more details as we go along. But it's really exciting program. This wonderful arc of what is to what is to what if to what's next. And we've had this a natural emerging theme, it appears, seems to be kind of around the 2 films that we're going to be offering. One called Gather, which is around Indigenous food sovereignty work. And the other one is The Response. One of our sponsors, Shareable, Tom Llewellyn, who will be a speaker, is also the director of that movie. And that's responding. I'm going to show you the 2 trailers for that. They're about 2 minutes each, a little less. But first, I'm just going to give you the highlights of the plenaries and maybe a couple of workshops, and just hopefully get you excited about hearing more and going and taking a look at some of the names that we're going to be booking in there as we go. But we've got the first plenary, we've got, after a dynamic opening with transition leaders on the first night, we've got a talk, engaged dialogue with Daniel Christian Wall on regenerative communities and a special guest yet to be announced, so stay tuned. And then we've got a just transition panel. So we'll be talking about social justice, and our own David Cobb will be on that, as well as others, Michelle Vassell, who he's working with in his project with Cooperation Humboldt. And then we've got a plenary on regenerative systems, which is looking at things from a political and economic lens with Emily Quano, and really excited that Lila June Johnston will be joining us, and hopefully she'll give us a taste of one of her performance poems as well. And Richard Heimberg, of course. And then we've our last plenary is aptly named Crisis as Catalyst for Transformation. So stay tuned for that, for names that will be on that panel. And we've got several workshops that will be on climate crisis and on food systems and food sovereignty, and starting cooperative transition network will have a workshop. So we're having a wonderful kind of diverse smattering of what's happening around kind of the climate justice and climate crisis type of topics, and what we're doing to turn them into opportunities. So hopefully it'll inspire everybody to start projects in their town where they are. And that's the idea, is that this whole thing is just gets people going, gets people inspired, gets people wanting to start projects and feeling really juiced up about changing the world by little actions to make big change. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and show you the two trailers. I'll show the first one is Tom Llewellyn's The Response.
Bueno, mi experiencia no fue nada agradable. Yo no encontré, bueno, fue interminable por casi 2 días.
When Hurricane Maria slammed into Puerto Rico on September 20th, 2017, it didn't just tear the roofs off the
Whoops.
buildings. It tore the lid off of an ongoing disaster.
We know that after the hurricane, food was a strong necessity. We came with the idea of launching a community space called Mutual Aid Center. We have an idea of building a center that could be more than just food.
Uno como activista, pues uno busca que esta vez no solo resolvamos la emergencia, sino que cada paso que demos sea encaminado a construir ese mundo por el cual siempre uno ha estado trabajando.
I felt a drive, and I just said maybe I could kick off something bigger than what we've been imagining.
This is going to present something that's at some point going to have to be dealt with, because we're building power.
This is The Response, a documentary exploring the remarkable communities that arise in the aftermath of disaster. We revisited Puerto Rico a little less than a year after Hurricane Maria slammed into the islands to see how Puerto Ricans are restoring power to the people.
Y aquí en Puerto Rico yo le digo el barco, si se hunde nos hundimos todos, no me hundo yo solita, nos hundimos todos.
All right, and the other one is on Gather.
Our ancestors saw the world end once. Their whole life was gone. Now we're on the other side of the apocalypse.
Different wrongs that have been done to Native peoples are just so sickening.
I mean, they even had slogans like "Kill the Indian, Save the Man." That's genocide.
Millions of people all across the Americas systematically wiped out, starting here on the East Coast. That's the reason that we don't have that relationship with some of those traditional foods anymore. What's popping? I see onions.
Yeah, we have red onions, yellow onions, matcha,
Right? We're salmon people.
But what do we do if our salmon don't come back? What I've come to understand is if we want to maintain our culture, then we have to have buffalo as a vital part of our communities.
what we're doing is reintroducing our young people to the land, the food, and our traditional ways of healing.
Working at the farm has brought a lot of healing to my life.
I've been clean 16 years, June now. I learned to heal through harvesting our traditional food.
We're celebrating Apache foodways in a kitchen that was built by Apaches for Apaches.
It's this movement among all indigenous people that they're listening, and it's like music. When you hear the drum, it's calling you, and it's Mother Earth. The Mother Earth's heart's beating, and she's talking to all of us that we need to do something. Just like there's corn.
All right. Well, hopefully that whetted your appetite. We're going to have follow-up discussions for both of those movies with the Gather. We'll have some of our Indigenous friends talk about food sovereignty projects that they're involved in. And the response, Tom Llewellyn will be with us, and others that will be talking about mental health and disaster and climate change and all of these things that we're all quite concerned about. So thank you. I think my time is up. There is a lot more to say, but that hopefully gave you the highlights, and stay tuned. So I'll pass it on to, let's see, Marissa, who's next?
Galen is up next.
All right. Thank you, Joel, for that. Yeah, it's very exciting and reminds me how much hard work is going to go into this as well. So I'm appreciative of that. And so my name is Galen, and I'm a member of the Collaborative Design Council. I work with the Inner Resilience Network, and I'm also very passionate about how we can use technology to enhance our connection and to support the transition movement and to support the transition to a more regenerative world. And so I'm going to introduce you to a platform called Mighty Networks. I'm going to go ahead and share the screen here. And here we're just beginning to build out a space. This is kind of like a little sneak preview, pardon our dust sort of thing. But here we can build out a space where we can enhance connection for our conference together and for the Regenerative Communities Summit. Mighty Networks, it's free to join. You'll receive an invite link once you sign up through Eventbrite when we're ready to start registration there. And we can create an engaging, interactive, and ongoing online community in this space. Mighty Networks is a conscious community building platform. We can host an online community environment, much like a social media platform, except it's our very own space, and there's no ads, there's no tricky algorithms deciding for us what we're going to see in our feed. And so here we can have an organized way to follow the summit and many opportunities for ongoing engagement. This is kind of like the home screen, and it's a personalized feed once you're signed up. It'll show you activity posts that you've been commenting on, and it'll show you featured posts from Transition US. And I don't have a lot of time to go into all the space, and we'll create a guide to support people, and we'll have ongoing tech support. But we have several different spaces inside here, and I'll just give you a little preview. We'll have a help desk space, and we'll have a space for event recordings. So you can click on this and show up here, and in this list here, you'll see recordings of events and blurbs posting, and we can keep the conversation going. And there's some other spaces, lots of good stuff, regional organizing. And basically it's just a great place for anybody can post and share their thoughts and keep the discussion going. We can organize things by topics. So any post can be tagged with a topic, where we have regenerative communities, just transition, and lots of other really, really juicy, relevant stuff here. And the best thing is the discovery page. And this is the last thing I'll show you. There's welcome posts to welcome you into the space, and there's featured posts so everybody can keep track on the same kind of posts and stay engaged together. And then there'll be members near you and top posts once there's a lot of activity going on. So we're really excited about it. We're going to build it out with some great content, and we're looking forward to inviting you in and seeing how much good connection we can grow together. I'll go ahead and pass it back to Marissa.
Thanks so much, Galen. And next we have Elvia to speak a little bit about our outreach efforts and to ask for some help getting the word out.
Hi everyone, yeah, my name is Elvia, she, her, hers pronouns, and I'm the new communications and outreach lead. And I'm really happy you're all here. It's great seeing all of you all. Like, we have 52 participants, that's really amazing. And like, this is just initial, I guess, event towards the summit. So it is great. And like, we want to just like have a lot of people attend our summit for various reasons. I mean, you know, we're all passionate about this. We all want to see the change happen. And I definitely think there's like the potential and the power in all of us to like be able to reach out to more people to join our movement, to join our event. And so we have like a goal of wanting to have engaged like around 5,000 participants to attend the summit. And although that number may seem large, I definitely think like it's really possible, especially seeing y'all here. Like, y'all could definitely reach out. So yeah, we thought about different ideas of how y'all could help us out. And like, one of them is definitely we also want to like help prepare you for any local events that you want to start in your transition in your town, to also like talk about our event. And if you are planning on creating an event in your town, you could definitely like post it up on our, let me just share my screen. And I think this one, okay. Oh yeah, okay, so yeah, definitely feel free to complete like a form in our guide. There's like a form right there, and it takes you to submit an event. Like, if you all want to submit, like, create an event in your town, and then like put the information here, and we'll definitely make sure to like outreach that for you and like send it out to other people and like post it on our social media platforms. And if you also want to become like a partner organization or sponsor, we also have the forms here, and check it out. And like, for the become a partner, we already have one, but we definitely, like, we just started, so we definitely will want you all to like, if you want to become a partner, to like, you know, apply, well, not apply because it's not a process, but just, you know, submit a response. And we also have a different way that you all could help out is by sharing our Facebook event page with other people that you may know, like friends, family, and like the event page is right there. It's also on the linked on the summit guide. But yeah, like, for like, if you have Facebook friends that you think that will want to attend, like, definitely feel free to share and like invite them and send them a personal message. Like, maybe y'all could like become like more like buddies, and, you know, talk about like the events afterwards together. That's like definitely a good way, you know, during the pandemic, to like reach out to old friends that you haven't like talked to in a while, and that's something that y'all could like talk about. But yeah, and also like, we've been getting more active on our Instagram. We just like started posting more, and feel free to follow us like on Instagram. We also posted our like have a guideline more about like how to use Instagram if you're not as familiar with it, and how you can make like an Instagram for your transition group. But yeah, and also like, definitely, oh yeah, this is an example of the Instagram. We posted one, and like, you definitely feel free to share like the content that was written here, like if you want to use parts of it to like customize it even more for your friends or for your community. And if also if you want to create a transition, it's like a transition town for your like Instagram account for your transition town, definitely feel free to like use this content too if you want to post that. Also feel free to like, if you want to like, I don't know, need more help on Instagram and whatnot, feel free to email me. I'll be putting my email at the bottom, and I could definitely, you know, help you out more with that or give you some tips and stuff like that. But yeah, so we definitely would love for y'all to help us out with the outreach. We definitely want more people to attend and like be able to feel great about moving forward as a community. And it's a very important time. Definitely, like we're at the, it's like if we're like running a marathon, we're at like our last laps right now, and like definitely want to continue thriving worldwide. But yeah, thank you for your time. I'll pass it back to Marissa.
All right, thank you. You're almost done hearing from us, and then we're going to be hearing from you all. But finally, I'm going to share with you, I'm just going to introduce you to this hosting guide that you can look through on your own time. I just want to share with you.
I don't have to go on. It's okay.
I can get take clothes and leave.
Do a mute. I just want to share, kind of orient you to this guide, and I will share my screen. So this guide was designed to support you in organizing local events as it feels safe and appropriate, to really maximize the potential of the summit to catalyze local action in your community, to make it more than an online event, to really ground it in your community. We're resourcing and putting together some great content, and we have some ideas about how you could organize your own event locally. So you all have access to this guide. The link is in the chat window. It was also sent out in the email where you registered for this event. We'll send it out in a follow-up email to everyone who was registered for this. So it's got a brief overview of the summit. All the content is listed here. What I wanted to show you is this piece around tips, some ideas about local events, hosting a screening of one of the plenary sessions in your community. You could tune into our live screening. We will also have all the recordings available the day after the live event, so you could host a screening at a different time that works well for you. You just won't have the benefit of being part of the Q&A or the discussion on those sessions, but you can listen to the keynote speakers. I don't know if y'all caught Daniel Christian Wall is the author of Regenerative Cultures, Designing Regenerative Cultures. The Just Transition panel is another one I'm very excited about, and all of the plenaries are going to be really good. So think about hosting a session around one of those. The film screenings are set up in a way where folks can watch them online for free at home. And then we're hosting discussions that everyone can join into online. You could also organize a film screening in your community and then join the discussion online. You could do a screening at your own home or in a public event or venue as it feels safe. You could organize a decompression event after the gathering to talk through with folks in your group what was kind of most exciting, what were your key takeaways, and how do you want to integrate those themes into your work moving forward. Or it could be as simple as inviting someone who has a shared interest with you to watch a workshop, participate in a workshop, and then talk together about how you might start a project together or how you might address an issue in your local group together. So this list is full of ideas on how to participate in the summit, everything from just watching a workshop with a buddy to organizing a whole weekend of events, Friday night, Saturday, Sunday. We've got our program highlights here, so you can see these are all the plenaries. We'll be filling this out with more information as we get all of our speakers confirmed. Here's the trailers for the film screenings, so you can share those with other people. A little bit of info about licensing for live screenings. Some more program overview. And then the other piece I really wanted to mention is our bioregional breakouts. We are, besides encouraging groups to organize locally around the summit, we are going to be hosting bioregional breakouts where you come together with other local groups, transition and other groups in your bioregion to talk about your strategy, your priorities, your needs as a region, because regional organizing is going to be a focus of our strategy for Transition US moving forward. And we will also be launching our strategy at the summit. So as a lead up to the bioregional breakouts at the summit, on August 24th, we're hosting another one of these national network strategy conversations, specifically on bioregional organizing. So if you're interested in organizing in your larger region beyond your local group, or if you're already doing that work, there are regional hubs emerging in a handful of regions around the country. Please join us then to help lay the groundwork for these bioregional breakouts. And in case you're curious, these are some of the regions that we're proposing, but we really are upholding the transition value of local subsidiarity. So it's up to you all to determine what your regions are, and that will be part of our conversation on August 24th. So we also have guidelines for open space in here. That's another thing you could organize locally. We'll be hosting an open space as part of the summit online. And then we have some info here, again, on becoming a partner, sponsor, and some outreach materials, including some templates for content. Okay, thank you so much. Now we are going to hear some words of wisdom from my dear colleague, John Foran, before we go to Q&A.
Right, this is the last talking head. I get to be it. It says I'm supposed to speak for 2 or 3 minutes and give an inspirational pitch. I'm also the timekeeper, so the clock is ticking. I want to thank all the speakers so far. Amazing sticking to time. And I want to lift up all the people who have spoken and many others who are working on this conference. There have been, I cannot tell you how many meetings, Zoom meetings, to work on the program, to work on the overall, to work on the outreach. And we're very excited because this moment, this Zoom call, is the first real public unveiling of what we hope might happen. I can't tell you how exciting this is to me as someone in the global climate justice movement who is trying through transition in every possible way and shape and form and combination to bring the world that we need into the future for everybody. And I'd like to pause and ask, why are we doing this? Who is it for? This is definitely not your business as usual conference. This is not a conventional conference of any kind. And I think it's already becoming clear, and the materials that are being shared here are very rich. This is going to be a creative opportunity of the first magnitude. And among the many things that excite me that I can imagine here is that out of this will come many initiatives, many actions, many new networks, many new relationships, many new projects as we, use this event, this 3-weekend extravaganza with so many moving pieces, parts, and opportunities for everyone to plug in where they feel they can and want, and to meet folks from everywhere that you can do all these things with. This is about building power together. This is about getting the kind of systemic transformation that Transition US stands for, and meeting all the folks around the world really who are trying to build systemic alternatives. And my time is up. I hope that was slightly inspiring, and I'll turn it back to Marissa.
Okay, I hope you've all been coming up with some questions, and we would like to answer them for you. What would you like to have clarified? Let us know how we can support you. And maybe first, Rua's going to facilitate this, but maybe first a quick show of hands. Who out there is interested in organizing a local event around the summit or regional something? Okay, seeing some hands. Good, good, awesome. So this is an opportunity if you have questions about your local event. We're also, I'll say more about this at the end, but we're gonna host a follow-up session on August 19th, and we can support people with their local event planning then. Okay, over to you, Rua.
All right. Thanks, Marissa. We just have probably less than 10 minutes. So if you have some kind of clarifying question, you can use the hand with the Zoom hand or something in the chat. The chat's not a stack. We'll just pick a few questions and see if we need to answer them. And if there are no questions, because everybody has been so clear, then we'll just keep moving on. I guess we don't have questions.
I see Suzanne Jones has her hand up, followed by Theo.
Hi, it took me a second because I couldn't figure out where to press. About the movies, are they going to be shown online as part of the summit? So there will be a link on the summit website, and people can just go to that link and see it there.
Yes. And Theo.
I guess broadly, clarifying advice on reaching out to other organizations. I sort of accidentally added some emails with Marissa about misstepping and reaching out to 350 Vermont. So maybe some clarifying. But first, just back up and say, great work, everybody. You guys did this really beautiful. Our new person wants to teach us how to use Instagram. So impressed by you. And I just really see a lot of good work that made this. So nice job, you guys. So I would say for the New England gathering in October 1st to the 3rd, the No Coal, No Gas campaign is called for people to come to the last coal-fired power plant in New England. So that will be an ongoing, I mean, it's in theory related to some of the programming you've discussed, but a possible partner. So naming that one. 350 Vermont gave a presentation this weekend called On Just Transition. So they got another year program that they're working up. The Duke also has got a just transition agenda. So we have the problem of everyone loving our language. Getting those people to come, I think, is an open question. I'll say peace back. Thank you.
Thanks, Theo. Anybody else with a?
Yeah, Rua, we have a stack. We have Andrea O'Farrell and then Polly Howells, I see.
Okay, so Andrea.
Hi. My question was sort of very similar. I mean, I'm in 350 Seattle, and this like sort of seems like something the Bioneers would be part of. Like, we end up with lots of different groups, and I don't know how to, bring it together.
I think that our name, the Regenerative Communities Summit, is not naming just Transition US. The idea was to bring different organizations together to show how we're all working together. And so we are having partners that are part of it from different organizations, and we're continuing to invite more.
So I could ask people at 350 to become partners in this?
Absolutely. They're getting some advertising for being a partner, and they are asked to spread the word. Great.
Yeah, can I respond to that too? So I saw Michael Weaver also posted in the chat about that. We are working with Transition Network. We're hoping they'll have their own session featuring international transition groups. We're pretty full on speakers. We have a few slots remaining. So we're not looking as much for speakers right now as we are for promotional partnerships. But in terms of promotional partnerships, like, yes, everyone is welcome to attend. And we probably could find room for a few more speakers, but we're pretty close to the end of designing our programming at this point. Awesome.
So,
I love all those suggestions for partners.
And Polly has a question, and I think then we're going to have to move on.
Yeah, I just wondered whether the movies are available for screening before the summit, so we could decide whether we wanted to have a local screening.
So in the case of the Gather, we're paying for the rights to show it during the event, but you could come on the first day and decide that you'd like to show it the next week, possibly.
You mean it's going to be available for anybody to watch it during the event from the beginning to end?
Right.
Okay. And the other movie?
I'm not sure. It's owned by Shareable, and I'm not sure what kind of rights we'll have to show it before the event.
Okay,
but we can clarify that.
Great, thank you.
And we'll let you know for sure.
Excellent, good.
And Mark has a question, and then we'll move on.
Yeah, just a quick question. How am I going to say this? So we don't need gray hairs like me. We really need the young people like Marissa. And so my question is there any specific special emphasis to draw in the real people that have the real fight ahead of them?
Great question, Mark.
I could respond to that.
Yeah.
Well, I will say that's one reason LV is pushing Instagram. That's a platform that a lot of younger folks are on, and it's more visual. I think also like the way we're framing the content, like the focus on justice and just transition, it's necessary, and it's also a strategic way to engage more young people who see these issues as interconnected. I don't know, Elvia, do you want to speak to that at all?
I was gonna also mention that one of our outreach methods is also like outreaching to professors. So I currently graduated from UCSB, University of California, Santa Barbara, and during that time, yeah, I'm just gonna like reach out to professors in the environmental department or sociology or just any other related departments that like they may seem interested in sharing that with their students. So if y'all have any alma maters that you think you want to reach out to, feel free to do so, and reach out to even department heads and just like let them know that you want to share this with like their students. So yeah, my other plan is definitely reaching out to different professors across different universities in the United States. But I could also make like a list and send it out to y'all, and like whoever's interested, like you could also post like, okay, I'm gonna reach out to a professor or someone that you know in that university, or you don't even have to know them, but just like reach out to them. But that's another idea.
So Marissa, Liz has a question. If it's a quick, I can't, Theo, we can't go back to you and your questions because we have to break into small groups, but maybe a quick question from Liz and then we'll move on.
The question I have is, how is the Transition Summit reaching out to the people and kind of like how are they creating the awareness? And if is there like a script or a list that if I wanted to connect to other nonprofits and universities and individuals, I mean, is there like a script that I can just take and post it so that I don't have to do all the wording, you know, to send out like, hey, this is something that's happening. Some people don't know what Transition US is. That's all I wanted to make a comment.
Yes, we have different scripts for different purposes. There's one at the bottom of this guide, but then we also have one specifically for partners. The one that's in this guide is more generic, just letting people know about the summit. And then we have a specific script for inviting partners and sponsors as well. Yeah, we really appreciate the support and we want to make it as easy for y'all to do the outreach as possible. And then if you're excited to help with outreach and help us hit our goal of 5,000 people, we're doing this outreach hackathon on August 19th. We can also help troubleshoot questions around local events and things like that, but that would be a great time if you're able to show up with your questions. We'll have all the scripts, we'll have you know, lists of people who need to be contacted, and we can all work together to get the word out in a big way.
Thank you.
And if you need a specific script, you can email me or email one of us, and I'll try to get as many of those into the guide as possible. The guide is a living document that can be continuously updated. Okay.
So back to you, Marissa, for breakout groups.
Thank you. I think it is time to move into breakout groups. So we want to hear from you. What is most exciting to you about what you heard tonight? What are you thinking about doing locally? What are your ideas for getting the words out? Just kind of sharing what feels most alive in you from this session. And then we'll do a report back after the breakout groups to collect all the exciting ideas. Okay, welcome back, everyone. I would love to hear some takeaways from your breakouts. And I wasn't as organized as usual with getting a notes document out to you all, but I think that's okay. Sometimes it's nice to not have to try to take notes. Hopefully that made it a little more creative and juicy. And I will capture now some of the key takeaways, but I'm hoping y'all just remember which room you were in. So someone from group 1, just share what was most exciting from your conversation. And then if you're not speaking, if you could please mute yourself. We'll just do a quick harvest round.
I was in room 1 and can go real quick.
Lovely.
So we talked about the different things we're going to do. Reaching out, outreach is something that I think will be, you know, important for everybody. We'll do it in slightly different ways, whether, you know, emails. I think there's a lot of plans to circulate things among students and through higher education networks. Alvia is helping to support that. And then I think at least a couple of us in that breakout room kind of share the idea of like, we really do want to do a lot, but it's hard because we're already kind of maxed out in terms of like our time and energy. So I think making it as easy as possible so that those of us who are doing this kind of work can actually do it is important.
Okay, heard. Thank you. We do want to make the outreach as easy as possible. And it's good to get that reflection too and know people are excited, and we need to make it as easy as possible. So we will take you up on that. Okay, awesome. And excited to hear about the outreach to universities too. Group 2.
I think I was in that one. I can't remember what number. Is that us?
Yeah, Linda. Yeah, Linda, that was us.
You can go if you want. I don't care.
I missed the question. Zoom kicked me off and I took a little bit to get back.
Oh, it's just a check-in from the groups, the breakouts.
Like a summary,
Yeah, we just had some, we had some audio issues. So we were troubleshooting that for part of it, but we also, we were really excited about just the getting together. For me, it's that I don't fly, so I've only been able to go to one of the national gatherings, which was the Permaculture Transition Convergence in Hopland, and it was brilliant. Really, really good seeing everybody, and I've so much enjoyed the local gatherings. I think Linda was expressing similar sentiments, and yeah, we're just really excited about it in general, and looking forward to it. And talking about like what would make sense, in terms of organizing local events, maybe having 2 streams of organization, one in person, one virtual, just in case Delta is still as strong a presence as it is. And the Bay Area is quite a hot spot for it right now. So anyway, for reasons that I'm sure you're all familiar with. So I will pass the piece back. That's our summary.
Thank you. Group 3, which sounds like Rachel, Mark, and Mark.
Yeah, do you guys want me to do this?
Go, Rachel.
Okay, you chime in if I miss something. Mark and Rachel met. We talked about what was exciting to us, and one of the resounding themes was just the reconnecting, the network weaving that's going on with this summit. It's nourishing us all, inspiring us all, and we reflected a bit upon, transition past, transition future, and maybe why it hadn't spread like a wildfire yet. We speculated a little bit, and we talked about some of the happenings and trainings in our areas, our mulling groups, and some of our activism. Anything else, Mark?
I guess, yeah, just to kind of reiterate also the opportunity to bring in some of the emerging initiatives like ours in Helena into the fold and get them up to speed and hopefully moving forward.
Yeah, we definitely want to reach emerging groups and also groups that don't identify with transition but are very aligned, and invite them so they can be connected to resources and to the rest of the network and kind of see what we're up to, and hopefully feel like they're part of it and join the network if they want. So please think about reaching out to those groups specifically, and we will have folks on our team working on that as well. This is another thing we can kind of tackle together at that hackathon on August 19th, or you can contact me if you're really excited about doing it personally, and I can make sure you have all the information you need. And I got goosebumps, Rachel, when you were talking about spreading like wildfire, because we've been talking about, and as the organizing team, about the different elements and how we want to image and frame and message the gathering. And it's just been communicated that fire, especially to some Indigenous communities, doesn't have that negative connotation because it's cleansing and it's good for the land. And I was just, feeling some of that when you shared about transition.
Thank you for sharing that.
Fire. Yeah. Okay, group 4.
You want to go ahead, Laura? I think we were 4.
Okay. Yeah, people were recalling not the first conference, but the second conference that was online. The excitement around, I wasn't part of it in my community, but a lot of people watched events, discussed in person. And I love that idea of we have a great big community center and haven't yet reinitiated our coming together. We've been having Zoom meetings. So this could be a back to coming together and either watching films and discussing, but a great opportunity to come together again. And excitement about different ideas of bringing youth, of getting youth involvement. They're just great ideas generated around high schools, colleges, watching the panel discussions and the plenary sessions and then having discussions. So it's been hard to get youth involved in our local group, but this summit is going to be a great opportunity, and the regenerative aspect of not just transition towns, but much more all-encompassing of so many different groups and commonalities is very exciting. Shari, do you want to add to that?
No, I think that was great. Thanks.
Thank you, Laura. That's really good reflection and feedback. And we wanted to make it really accessible so folks can tune in for one session or they can join us for the whole 2 weeks. And I think, like you're saying, to make it more appealing to groups who haven't worked with us before, or students, like they can watch one session and that will give them a taste, and then they can access the recordings whenever they have time. So as long as people are registered, they'll have access to the recordings and the Mighty Networks platform to talk to other people. And for youth, it's going to be free. So hopefully we can, make it very accessible and appealing. Okay, are we up to 5, group 5?
Yeah, I can go ahead.
Galen, I think you should present.
Okay, sure. Yeah, I'm happy to jump in, and then I'd love if you have anything you want to follow up on. Yeah, Laura shared a lot about some of her story and experiences, and what was coming up. What I was taking away from that was largely about the cultural ecosystem and how there's different cultural microclimates to pay attention to. And, some things that work really well in transition just don't work in other places. And along with that, there was a motif about partnering with organizations. And sometimes there might be differences of culture within that, but there's still like really meaningful partnerships to be developed with, for example, a Salvation Army came up, and so how does transition engage with something like Salvation Army? We can certainly work on mutually beneficial projects, and maybe it's not something that people are gonna anyway, so I was thinking about some of those challenges, and I'd love for Laura, if you have anything to add to that.
We're a little behind, so if it's okay, I think we're gonna move on to group number 6.
Sure, thank you.
Thank you, Galen. And we do need to speed up a little, and I'll refrain from giving my interpretation of everyone's comments. Group number 6. Okay, can move on to group number 7. Oh, I see Liz Lindsay. You have your hand up. You're muted, Liz. So if you can just unmute yourself. There we
Hi,
go.
I'm group 7, and we kind of pretty much were talking about similarities and finding like-minded people or organizations. I happen to know a lot of permaculturists in Florida, and also time banking. There's a lot of permaculturists and time banking, very similar. They're used to transition and all that. We also talked about community schools and like community gardens and school gardens and homeschool mothers type of thing, reaching out to the youth, which I think is extremely important, and to do outreach to them. And yeah, I'm excited about the summit and everything, and that Mighty Works platform sounds awesome. Thanks. That's it.
Thank you, Liz. Over to group 8.
We got to know each other.
That's
Talked about
awesome, Jeff.
having gray hair.
Cool. Well, I'm happy to see you here.
That's how I
It's been a
characterize
while.
it. Yeah.
Also,
Anybody
we
else?
made some good connections. We're all on the greater West Coast, and yeah, we started talking about bioregional and regional hub making. So it was great, except I had to take a phone call for a lot of it. Peace back.
Okay.
One last thing from group 7, please.
Okay.
I put something in the chat about the ageism. I do encourage people to not disempower themselves based on their age value. You all are precious. I want my gray hairs working 5 times as hard from where they are. Your generation changed the world in the Vietnam War, so you have proof. You could share that with young people. They haven't seen that, so they're all disheartened. So this is where we need intergenerational work, and you know, that's that. Finally, we see the time coming. This land acknowledgement, we're on Turtle Island. This is Native Treaty Territory, and God bless the people of Minnesota who are working so hard to protect our water. Thank you.
Thank you. And we are hopefully going to have a session on intergenerational collaboration at council during the summit. It's not confirmed yet, but hopefully creating more of that space to practice working together across generations. And we think group 9 was empty, so moving on to group 10.
Hi. So the people in our group were just coming into the movement, from my understanding, talking to them. Oh, sorry about that. So they're really excited to come and check things out and just get to know things better. And I think on our end, we're going to be having people post about it on Instagram and Facebook and probably Twitter, right? Because that's where the young people are at.
We have the most followers on Instagram,
but we have the most followers on Instagram. Yeah. So.
Okay, thank you. And finally, group 11.
I think that the other people in our group are no longer here. I was just looking for them.
I'm here.
Except for, oh, there you are. Hi. Okay. Anybody want to talk?
Well, I went in the course of our breakout from being very reluctant to really being more excited. And so I don't know about you, Polly, but we're kind of fried after 10 years of doing this. But the idea of bringing in young people is so awesome, and you're doing so many great things to support them, which is wonderful, really.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say good job, Galen, on that network you're working on. I need to talk to you more about it, but it's super idea. Great.
I think what I heard was that this was an opportunity to renew the enthusiasm in local groups that are flagging, that are feeling depressed over the state of the world. And there was also a request to need ideas for what kinds of groups to invite. So that might be in the hosting guide, to just, it can be anybody, but how do you decide?
Okay, thank you. Did I miss any groups? We're already a little over on time.
Just real quick. This is Howard, and I was in group 10, and we have tremendous opportunity here because many of the people on the call are not that familiar with the history of transition and the need that we are expressing for action steps now because of the place we are in time and place. So I'd be interested, really glad to follow through with this. Just wanted to shout out, you guys are really fantastic.
Thank you, Howard. I am so happy to be sharing this with you all. It feels like now we have a much bigger team making this happen. And yeah, that feels like such a gift and a blessing. I just want to recap a few of our asks around outreach, please RSVP for the Facebook event if you are on Facebook and share it with your friends. Follow us on Instagram if you're there. Sign up to partner or sponsor and take a look at those documents so you can think about who else you might want to ask to partner or sponsor. And because you registered for this call, you're also going to be registered for that outreach hackathon on August 19th, which is a Thursday at the same time. And then our August 24th bioregional organizing call at the same time. We also have an event on our website for the bioregional organizing call. Please share it with other folks in your bioregion or bigger region who you think would be interested in that conversation. And they don't have to be part of a transition initiative. If they're doing other related work in your region, that's fine. Okay, thank you all. Feel free to unmute and say goodbye. And we're so grateful to y'all for showing up tonight.
Thank you very much. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye,
everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Good job.
Bye.
Great job, everybody.
Thank
Bye.
you.